Persons under 18 will not be admitted.
What's up, everybody? This is Jeff.
And Ben.
From Toking with the Dead.
And Still Toking With.
And Still Toking With. Still Toking With is our live show. Yes. You can catch that every Wednesday.
At 7 p.m.
Eastern.
That's
Eastern time.
Yeah,
if you live in fucking California, it's got to be 3.
No, 4.
4?
Yeah. They're only 3 hours behind.
What about daylight savings?
Yeah, well, fuck that. We'll worry about that one.
Okay, so if you're on the West Coast, you're going to have to look up when 6 o'clock is out there compared to here.
Which would be actually 7 o'clock out there instead of here.
7 o'clock?
Yeah.
You know, before this is over, I'm going to need a whole lot of serious therapy.
You're all fucked up today.
Another $1 for the swear jar.
I'm always fucked up. You should tune into the show and see really how fucked up I can get.
Oh, yeah.
Well, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one.
And when you do tune in, you're going to see amazing guests like this.
Hey, this is Courtney Gaines. You know me from such movies as Children of the Corn, Can't Buy Me Love, Burbs, even Back to the Future.
Hey everybody, this is S5E42, and I'm going to be on Still Toking With.
Hi, I'm Deadeye Swackhammer, and you're listening to Still Toking With.
Hey guys, it's Boston comedian Dave Russo, and you're listening to Still Toking. Do not change that dial. I'm going to punch you in the face. You fuckers. In the face.
Hi, this is Steve Wallace from ET&Q Show, and you're listening to Still Toking With on the Dorkening Podcast Network.
Hey! Yeah, it's that time again. Welcome to another kick-ass episode of Still Toking With. I'm me. That's me. Yep, that's me. But I'm super psyched about tonight. Not only do we have an amazing young gentleman that's just killing shit on the West Coast, but we have an amazing special co-host this evening. So, without any
who's also killing shit on the West Coast.
Hey, stay out of my head, will you?
No one leaves. No one leaves.
No one leaves. So, but joining us tonight, all the way from the West Coast, the man behind the mask, taking the reins of Jason Voorhees and doing much more, our good man Jason Brooks.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing, brother?
Doing great. How are you doing?
Doing well. You know, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to jump on the show and be a special co-host with us tonight.
Oh, my pleasure.
You know, and I'm sure we're going to have some fun. And yeah, that voice you heard in my head, this guy.
That wasn't me. That was really in your head, wasn't it?
I think so.
No?
Maybe.
No?
Could have been.
So, yeah, as a horror fanatic, and I do consider myself a horror fanatic.
Well, good, then I won't have to say anything tonight.
Well, it just because I watch a lot of horror movies doesn't mean that I can like explain them to you, describe them to you, or tell you which one was which and who was in which one. You know, I'm not like that. I'm just not that good. You know what I mean? But I've watched this guy's. I've watched a few of his movies over the years, believe it or not. And I'm like, really? He did that? Oh, really? He did that? No shit. And now we get a chance to chat with him. I'm gonna fuck his name up though. Let's see. Calvin Morié McCarthy. No, did I get it wrong?
You got it wrong.
I got it wrong.
Yeah, it was close. It was close, though. It was better than most people do. It's better than Maury.
Well, yeah, that's how a lot of people just say Maury.
Yes. Yeah, most people do.
At least I tried to get a little tongue roll on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because people like that. So.
Well, that wasn't much of a fucking tongue roll, so I pity your wife.
Oh, well, yeah, but those are silent.
Oh, that's what it is.
You know? So,
but Calvin,
welcome to the show. You know, I'm going to jump right into it. Your new movie just came out. What was it, released in September, October?
October. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Conjuring the Cult.
Yes.
I'm glad there's an L in that title. I'm just saying. Yeah, I'd like to. Yeah, I'll take it right off the tracks. Good flick. It got a lot of mixed reviews. I'm sure you're well aware of that.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I enjoyed it, not immensely, but it kept me intrigued because it was so well done.
Good.
You know what I mean? And I did not expect the end.
Good. Yeah.
Okay. I just did not expect it. Some of the reviews was like, oh, the ending was predictable. It's like, no, not to me. It wasn't. I watch a lot of this shit.
Yeah, everyone's an individual, some people see that stuff coming, some don't, and I've been making, pretty low budget, and I know that low budget is a relative term when it comes to filmmaking, but, by most conceivable measures, really low budget films for a while. And yeah, I mean, it's hard to do, we're up and competing with other low budget films that are, made for, $1 million. It's still considered a low budget. So, it's tough. I mean, all you can ask for is for, certain horror fans to find something out of it that they like, or for, if people want to have fun with it and goof on it, that's cool too,
The special effects, I wouldn't consider standard for a low budget film. And I think that, I think that Jason and Naomi really killed it with that. I really, really do. And even in some of the other stuff, that I've seen Jason do, the special effects, unbelievable.
Thanks.
There goes his internet glitchy.
Well, I mean,
is it?
Luckily, I had the opportunity to work with Jason quite a while ago as an actor, and we've stayed friends, but not terribly close in the meantime. And then we were both working on projects, and I reached out to him. I mean, to be honest, I figured he would never want to work on some of these lower budget films. I kind of just figured that it was kind of below his pay grade. I didn't really know how he would react. We were always like really cordial and friendly when we'd see each other at conventions. But finally, I decided to reach out to him, and ever since, that we made that movie last early March, and we've done 3 films together since. So,
well, give him an ugly mask, and he's in.
True.
So, I mean, Jason came in and really saved the film. I mean, you write a script and you write it. You try to stay within a budget, but I can remember some of those effects thinking, how the fuck are we going to do this? And Jason and Naomi almost immediately said, no, we know how we would do that. So it was
we got you.
Yeah. And I was nervous, I didn't, like I said, I kind of figured maybe they wouldn't want to work with us. So
it's crazy.
Yeah.
And when Calvin finally asked, I'm like, well, it's about goddamn time.
Yeah.
I thought you didn't like me anymore. What's
yeah.
going on?
I was upset on Colt. I remember the day that I was upset because these effects that was the kind of stuff that we had wanted in our films for so long, Jason and Naomi were just doing with ease. And I remember actually going to some of the other crew and saying, I'm actually pissed off about this, that we could have been doing this the whole time,
Right.
Yeah, it was great. It was really kind of a magical shoot. Some of the films that I've done have been more, trying to be more marketable, low budget horror films. And then some of them have been kind of more of a passion project, weird story that I want to tell, really into like cosmic horror, Italian horror, classic kind of old dark house stuff that might not be as marketable, especially when it comes to low budget horror films. But every now and then I get to sneak in kind of a passion project, a passion idea that I have. And Conjuring the Cult was one of those. So yeah, I mean, going into it, I knew it's definitely not for everybody.
Right.
Yeah, well, I mean, nothing is. What surprised me was that you went back to what I call 80s genre kind of films when you did Pillow Party Massacre.
Yes, yeah. I mean, those are like my favorite types of films. I'm a big grindhouse fan, big Italian horror fan, cosmic horror, going back to the golden age and the silver age of classic horror. Just really varied tastes when it comes to horror films, and I have a really large physical media collection. So I try to draw on stuff that I like, not necessarily, what might be popular all the time, which might be my downfall.
No, I think
because you're gonna get a better product when you have your passion behind it, not because you're trying to do something that somebody else wants.
Right. Yeah, passion is the key. So
and I think the Conjuring, the Cult. I mean, I really like it. Notoriously, I'm known for hating slow burn movies.
Yeah,
like I
talk about this all the time.
And yeah, it's any room I go into, someone's like, "Oh, I heard that you don't like a lot of this kind of stuff, whatever." And Conjuring the Cult is, but I do like it. I'm a little bit biased, of course, in watching it, but I think that there's enough payoff at the end. That's one of my complaints is like slow burn movies that don't have a payoff. And you just wait for like, oh, okay, that was it. But I really liked how Conjuring came about with the story and what Calvin did for that. And you have enough
fantastic ending. It was fantastic. I love
it. And you have like naked witches throughout the whole thing, like violence and gore, and it's cool. I don't know. I thought it was well done for one of those slow burn movies.
So, for everybody watching or listening to us later on, make sure you check the show notes up above or down below to find out all the information about Calvin, all the things he's done, and Jason. I put some of his stuff in there for you folks. But I do have the trailer queued up if you guys want us to go ahead and play that.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. All right. So here's the trailer for. I'm just going to play the trailer.
4 months ago, I lost my daughter. Suicide.
It's perfectly normal to want to speak to our loved ones again.
The worst part are the nightmares.
What do you dream about, David?
Sorry to hear about your daughter.
Are you four all here together?
We belong to another help group.
I didn't know my daughter that well.
She was struggling with something. We can help you. Come to one of our meetings.
I think she's trying to tell me something.
Masha isn't really there, David.
You just have to be careful with what you let in.
David, what's going on? Are you using that thing to contact Masha? Why would you mess with something like that?
What do you want?
To help. Bring me back.
Bring me back!
Was I a good girl, Daddy? Thou shalt not screw around with things thou dost not understand. Oh, what's wrong, Daddy? You afraid?
Very nice.
I'm afraid. You should be very afraid.
Very afraid.
Wow. It had a lot of suspense to it as well, and that's that to me that's something that's not easy to do.
Right.
Because you're talking about a guy who's supposed to be depressed. He just lost his daughter.
Right.
So the way that the story went is just kind of odd in that way. At least to me.
Yeah.
You know
I mean, that was definitely a challenge in the scripting process too. I mean, there are a lot of elements, obviously, in that film that I think certain people might not like within horror films. I really like messing with dreams and people not necessarily knowing when they're awake and when they're asleep. And I know that those types of tropes get a little bit of a bad rep. So it was kind of hard to toe that line. But luckily we had a really good actor in Neil Green. We had really beautiful locations that one of our producers, Brad Littlefield, got for us. And I think that being able to, especially on a low budget, being able to build atmosphere through just lighting those like a good looking location correctly actually adds quite a bit of suspense, that I can't even take credit for. Sometimes you luck out with a good location, you got a good crew that can make the place look creepy, and got a good actor, and tell him, you don't know if you're awake or asleep, and it just kind of organically can kind of come together that way sometimes.
Nice. It was well done. I liked it. Yep. And I had a thought and it just left.
Yeah,
so.
You keep referring to it as low budget. I think you should refer to it more as a project of passion.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Well, because I don't think there's really anything that's low budget anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because people are making, honestly, people are making movies for, $5,000.
Oh yeah.
$50,000, 500,000, 500 million. And I think it's really the movie itself and how it's put together that if it captivates the audience, it's a passion, it's a project of passion.
Right.
Yeah. It's and it's a whole other can of worms with how you can utilize, what you have.
Right.
So you see certain projects that have, $100,000 and, it looks like a $5,000 thing, and someone who's really resourceful with $5,000 can make it look like
exactly.
Right. I mean, I watch a lot of films, like I said, and a lot of low budget, B-style horror and all this kind of stuff. And I did not see low budget in that film anywhere.
That's because he had the powerhouse duo over there.
Right. Yeah.
Jason and Naomi. I mean,
it wasn't just us. I know we helped, but
everybody is just so great on that project. And we have a kind of like a team that's built in. We've all worked together for the past 4 years. We've all grown together. And so we have like our own personality, and then plugging Jason and Naomi in, it was seamless. Same thing with Brad Littlefield, the producer. I mean, it's always like summer camp, when we get together.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Right. You use some of the same actors too and actresses. Like, I don't know, China was in a couple of your films.
Yeah. China's also a part of the crew. She's more often than not an assistant director.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Some of the scripting process. Luckily, most of our crew, we all kind of come from not just like the commercial scene out here, but also, we're all actors. We all kind of got our start either on the stage or acting in different films. So you can kind of just plug and play everybody.
Right.
And Brooks is the same way. Brooks is one of the stars of our next film coming up, the Lizzie Borden Game, because, not only is Brooks, great at producing and directing, and he's great with effects, obviously, but he can step in and carry a film as well. So just having that versatility, I think, is really it's really important, especially when it comes to like we were saying, trying to stretch the budget or just make it work.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Now, is Conjuring the Cult classed as straight out horror, or is it considered a thriller as well?
I think it's mostly marketed as a horror film. I kind of think of it as like, a cosmic horror kind of thriller.
Right. That's how I kind of saw it. Yeah. Because adding that extra tag will get you more views.
Right.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. You did bring up the Lizzie Borden Game.
Yes.
So I want to talk a little bit about that, because Jeff and I are both from the East Coast. I live in Plymouth, Massachusetts. Jeff's in Halifax. So we're not too far from.
It's 35 minutes to Fall River.
Yeah. Yeah. It's literally like 30. Yeah. And I spent a lot of my teen years in Fall River. So I know the area. So let's talk a little bit about that project, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
And what brought that to fruition, and the passion maybe behind that.
Yeah, the germ of that idea comes from a kind of a very different place. Working with distributors, working with Breaking Glass in particular. You know, after Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey came out, there was kind of a big push. No shit. There's kind of a big push to find some popular properties, you know, characters that are in the public domain that you can make a horror movie off of. The first thing we did was we did a couple of Boogeyman movies. It just kind of seemed like a no-brainer when they were talking about that. You know, there's a Boogeyman movie coming out. You can kind of do anything with the Boogeyman, you know. So then after we did the Boogeyman, you know, I'm just always writing, just working on different treatments, and Lizzie Borden popped into my head. You know, I'm usually out for a walk thinking of stuff, and started working on the treatment for it, and thought, you know, there's gotta be a Lizzie Borden slasher movie where it's like zombie Lizzie Borden killing people. I mean, she comes with her own weapon. She's got her own nursery rhyme. This already has to exist, and wasn't really able to find anything like that. There was one that was a you know, pretty low budget one from like the early 2000s, but you know, nothing. It just seemed like a gold mine. It seemed like a no-brainer, and it's one of those kind of stories like Pillow Party Massacre almost, that just sort of likes itself, and is much different in tone from something like Conjuring the Cult. It's much more fun, much more of a slasher film, obviously. Yeah, I'm really excited to get it going. You know, we just
have you gone there and stayed there? It is a bed and breakfast, you know.
I've never been there. No, you know, and what's funny is you either when you talk about making a Lizzie Borden horror film, you either get one of two responses. There's nothing in the middle.
Right.
The first one is, who the fuck is Lizzie Borden? Like, what is that? What are you talking about? They go, oh, you know.
Right.
The other half of the time, people say, oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Man, yeah, Lizzie Borden is a slasher. So, you know, I'm glad that it has like a little bit of a cult following to it. I'm glad that, right, like you guys mentioned, that on the East Coast, Lizzie Borden is obviously much more popular. People go out there.
But, my brother and sister-in-law stayed there for a weekend.
Yeah, I'd love to stay there.
Well, you contact the bed and breakfast, and maybe you guys fly out and film some there.
Yeah, no kidding. No, we ended up finding a really nice location out here in Oregon, the Suttlemeyer House, which is a 1800s Victorian house that has been turned into a museum, but a museum in the sense that it still has all of the furnishings. It still looks like it would have in I think it's like 1870. So it's just it's like the perfect location for it.
That works.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
hey,
okay.
I was just trying to get them out here to the East Coast. I mean, I tried.
I would love to. Yeah, if I had the money, I'd be out there.
Yeah. It is kind of funny how just you know, in the past few years, you mentioned you know, Winnie the Pooh and Blood and Honey. That they did it with the banana splits.
Right.
I just watched Mousetrap.
Right. There's a Popeye coming out now.
Yeah, Popeye.
Yeah.
Yep. There's a Popeye that's coming out. There was another one too. I can't remember what it was. You know,
we should write one for the Boston Tea Party.
Yeah.
You know,
just saying, copyrighted.
You know, it's a fun prompt. You know, honestly, as someone who's, you know, trying to make these films and make something successful for a distributor, it's a fun prompt to get. You know, because a lot of times, you know, if I'm just kind of left to my own devices, a lot of what I write is stuff like The Cult, which ends up becoming Conjuring the Cult, and sometimes it is fun to be given the parameters of a box. You know, someone says, find me something that's in the public domain that has, you know, a little bit of a cachet to it. and try to work that into being a horror film. So, I guess it's lucky for me that I enjoy all different types of horror films.
What's your favorite kind of horror film?
My favorite, I'm a really big 70s and 80s Italian horror fan. I think that's probably my favorite subgenre. Mm-hmm. But my favorite horror film of all time is the 1968 Night of the Living Dead.
Okay. Very nice.
Nothing beats it. Nothing
Very
beats
nice.
Night of the Living Dead.
Right.
But I'm also, a huge monster movie fan. I mean, Godzilla versus Mothra is probably the movie I've seen more times than any other movie in my life. Hundreds of times since I've been a kid. So just really varied, making a list is tough. I did that for a YouTube channel, making my 31 favorite horror films, and it's like all over the place. You got Todd Browning's Freaks next to, stuff like Day of the Dead from George Romero. So.
Right, but you're more. It sounds like you're more straight out horror as opposed to like the horror comedies. Some horror comedies are just some are good, but some are so.
Yeah, I mean, Killer Clowns from Outer Space is in my top 3. I love Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's because it's creepy as fuck.
Yes,
it's clowns, man.
That is true.
It's also, it's like a Warner Brothers cartoon,
Yeah, that's true. So, go ahead.
Yeah, so you've got some things in the works. Let's see. You got post-production, if this is still accurate. Thirst. What's Thirst?
Well, some of that stuff from, those are films that I've acted in. Thirst, I don't know that that's necessarily ever going to come out. I think it was a short film that I was in back in.
So that's in post forever.
I think that's in post forever. That might not one of my.
Right. Death of Snow White, though. I mean, I've been seeing that hinted at already over the last 6 months. So I'm looking forward to that one coming out.
Yes.
Me too.
Yeah, you guys worked together on that, right?
Right.
Yeah, I did. I wrote it with Naomi, and directed it. Was in it. We did the special effects. Calvin was on the camera team. China was my first AD, and the entire 7th Street crew was on it in some capacity or another.
Yeah.
Cool. So when's that going to be released?
March. That one, we're aiming to have it in theaters in March at the same time as the Disney release of their Snow White film.
Ooh. It's a marketing for you, folks.
Yeah.
Little box office brawl.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
I took Junior to see Snow White, and it was the wrong one.
Oh,
so 10 years from now, we're going to have the evil Little Mermaid or some shit like that?
Oh, they're already working on that.
Are they already working on that?
I've already seen the trailer,
Yeah, of course they are.
Yeah, and what's funny is, we were working on Snow White for about a month, right? I mean, pre-production took much longer. I started working as UPM on that movie. So China and I were working a lot with everyone during pre-production, but we were on set for about a month, something like that. And then immediately all of us, including Jason and Naomi, went over to do film Revenge of the Boogeyman, which should be coming out soon. We just turned the final product over to Breaking Glass for it to come out. So Jason and Naomi were with the 7th Street crew for a month and a half. We were just running all over the place, from Washington to Idaho to Oregon to back to northern Washington. It was nuts.
It was a lot.
I was like falling apart by Revenge of the Boogeyman.
Yeah, we were exhausted.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one is a dark fantasy with some horror elements. It's not quite it's not like the way it's been going with the Popeye and the Winnie the Pooh kind of thing, where it's just a slasher version of it. So
right,
it definitely has horror elements, a lot of body horror and gore, but it's more of a dark fantasy than anything I would say.
Nice.
But we do have the composer for Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey doing our score.
Oh, there you go. Right.
there you go.
I knew there was a connection somewhere.
Yeah, Andrew Scott Bell, he's doing the music. He's freaking amazing.
But it is always interesting, something will come out and just kind of change the landscape of the indie horror, right? Hereditary comes out and everyone's doing kind of more of a slow burn horror film, and then Paranormal Activity comes out. Okay, everyone's clamoring for found footage, and it's amazing that Winnie the Pooh, for however people feel about it, really shook up the landscape to where a lot of distribution companies were kind of looking for that.
My wife says that those movies ruin her childhood.
Oh, I see that comment a lot. With these kind of movies. People saying, "Oh, I ruined my childhood."
Yeah.
Well, don't have such a fragile childhood.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Don't put that much stock into child characters. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Nice. Yeah. So, Calvin, there's a lot of horror movies out there where the evil is an animal.
Yeah.
Some sort of animal. Okay. If you were going to do a horror movie using an animal, what animal would you use?
Bear or a dog, definitely. Killer bear, killer dog. Mainly because I'm genuinely afraid of bears. And I used to do a lot of hiking. I think that they're godless heathens, really. Bears I just find terrifying. And then
explains a lot about the next script and saw there.
What's that?
I said explains a lot about the Lizzie Borden script. Some stuff in
there's jokes about bears in there. Yeah. They legitimately freaked me out. I remember hiking on St. Helens one time with a bunch of people, and they found bear droppings, which meant there was some around. It's like, oh, that's it. I'm getting eaten. I legitimately have a fear of bears. And then just like jogging around the neighborhood, people's dogs that get out. I mean, it's just, I have that fear too. Like one of these days, I'm going to get attacked by one of these dogs. So, and I think that there's something scary about man's best friend attacking you. That's why Cujo is so, so scary, so visceral, because it's, you see dogs all the time. Everybody's got it. So just that kind of like suburban horror, I think, is interesting.
Nice. Best dog movie I've seen was The Breed.
Yeah, The Breed
is a good one.
With Michelle Rodriguez, right?
Yes, I believe that. Yeah, it was Michelle Rodriguez.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. I think we should write one about a squirrel.
Yeah.
Cocaine.
Well, I've seen the frogs.
There you go.
I've seen leeches. I've seen bugs. I've seen ants. I've seen freaking yellow jackets and wasps. I mean, it's
right.
They make them.
Oh no, there you go. Instead of the cocaine squirrel, Jason, you have a squirrel that lives in a meth head's house.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right?
Squirrels are kind of meth heads on their own. They're a little spastic, running around. Makes sense.
Right?
Spiders on speed.
Yeah.
Right?
Spiders on speed. Yeah, see, there you go.
Now see, I wouldn't do a squirrel. I would do a chipmunk because they're cuter. So it's they're, that I think they would be a kind of a funny, mean creature.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, well, yeah. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there. Go ahead.
Just saying.
Not going there. Not going there.
So, do you own a dog, Calvin?
Not currently. I obviously have. I've had dogs. Yeah, Night of the Lepus is a good one too. Yeah. Rats are a good one. So, there's a lot of good, when animals attacks movies.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just wondering if you go with the standard, which you kind of did.
Yeah.
With the dog and the bear. Yep. Yeah, which was
Yeah.
interesting. I'm glad you stayed away from the wolves and that shit.
Yeah, you know,
Komodo dragons.
Komodo dragons are fun. Yeah, you know, I think that for me, it would be about just kind of finding the good situation that the characters are in. You know, that the animal could be anything, right?
Right.
Just finding that good, inciting incident. You know, how do we get everyone in this place of danger? Because Cujo is great, but I think it would have worked if it was, you know, it could have been in wildlife safari with a lion. It could have been the same way. It's just finding a good.
Right. And those are out there too.
Yeah, right.
I've seen those too. I can't remember the names of them, but I've seen those too.
Like I said, I think I would just pick a bear or a dog because I legitimately find them terrifying. But then again, I don't think I would want to work with a real bear. So I would work with a trained dog, but I'm not working with a trained bear.
Well, I mean, you could just put Jason in a bear costume.
Me in the bear suit.
Yeah, right. Put Jason in a bear suit.
I've always wanted to make a Bigfoot movie, but I don't know if Bigfoot is really an animal.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
No, you don't. No. I'm going to bring this up because I mention this all the time. Okay, you got to get the fuck away from the Bigfoot movies.
Baby
get away from all
Sasquatch.
that mini Sasquatch.
Yep, baby Sasquatch.
Yeah.
They're like they'd be like little Ewoks from Star Wars, fucking ripping you apart.
Yeah, or just monkeys in general. Monkeys are also pretty terrifying.
Right.
Yeah, Ben knows.
Oh,
Get
monkey.
pissed on.
Well, I mean, go ahead, Jason.
I'll say I think you're on the right track with a dog kind of a thing or a cat. Something for me, I would always want to go and do the whole like Psycho and Jaws, where people are afraid to go in the water and take a shower. It's like if it's something that's kind of out in the woods or a Komodo dragon, you're never going to see it except for behind glass. You're probably not going to be afraid of that or have your own reaction. But if it's like man's best friend,
right?
You know, you see it, you do a good job on the film. People might look at dogs like a little bit differently or cats or something. So I'd probably go in that same route of, what would people have a visceral reaction to that they have access to?
Something familiar, just kind of playing on that fear, like I said, of taking a jog through the neighborhood, and every now and then someone's dog will get out and run up to you, and it's growling, and you go, ugh, Typically it's usually fine, but I always have that little thing in the back of my head. I'm gonna have my hands in and not notice this pit bull.
Right. True.
But see, I'm not afraid of any dogs except the little fuckers, the little chihuahuas and the little ankle biters.
That's what Jason
Those are the nasty ones.
No, I got a chihuahua and he's awesome. He's very chill.
Dachshunds.
Big guy, little dog. Yep.
Yeah.
Big guy, little dog.
Yeah, I got to be the big dog around here, right?
Right.
Well, yeah.
So you had mentioned that you have some bigger projects maybe in the works. Is that something that you want to touch on as well?
Yeah, I mean, we have a couple of projects that we're working on. Actually, Jason and I have been trying to collab more on developing some of these bigger projects, and there's a couple of producers that I've been working with on a couple of projects. One of which is an American remake to a Japanese horror film. They had actually purchased the rights to a horror film from Japan called Late Bloomer. And we've been working on the script and the pitch deck now for months. And, I think that it's a really good, I think it's just a brilliant property that could, really be something big if we can get the budget that we want for it. And yeah, there's a couple of other things in the works. You can definitely reach out to us at 7th Street Productions or reach out to Jason, if anyone has any interest in them. Always looking for funding or additional collaborators.
Right. And make sure you check. make sure you check the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us, to find out that information.
Yeah.
Because it's there. And I know it's there because I put it there.
So if I read it right, you've won one award.
Yeah, for our features, yeah. I won some other ones, but yeah.
Yeah, that was for the
Pillow Party.
Yeah, Pillow Party Massacre. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, congrats on that.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, so when I came across that movie on Tubi, I was like, wait a minute. This was made in 2023. That was the date that was on. Like, all these other ones are from the 80s.
Yes. Well, it's funny that was another situation where I had this idea for a different slasher film altogether, but it all started in a school. So the beginning of that movie was something I had already worked out into a script, and I was on a jog, just kind of thinking about some of my favorite slasher films and the Slumber Party Massacre movies I love.
Mm-hmm.
And I was jogging, and the title Pillow Party Massacre popped into my head, and I loved the alliteration of it. And I was like, that's got to be a movie. That has to be a title already. There's no way this one got passed up. And sure enough, it was available. And I contacted, I just started hammering out the rest of this script and contacted Breaking Glass and said, Pillow Party Massacre, guys. We'll get the poster just like the 80s one. So that was another just like a kind of lightning in a bottle, almost like this Lizzie Borden idea. Just kind of, it's more of a fun movie, more of a fun horror film, like a romp. And
same kind of poster as Slumber Party Massacre.
Yeah.
And shit.
Yeah. That was another really fun one to make.
Now, in your opinion, how important is the actual film title?
I think that it is really important when it comes to distribution and marketing. Almost all of my films have been retitled except for Pillow Party Massacre, and I'm totally game for that. I'm not in the business of marketing all these different movies that I've acquired, so I tend to defer to people who do that specifically for a living. So I mean, it doesn't bug me. I'm sure that it does matter quite a bit, but almost all of my films had a different title in the beginning. But for me, it's like it's like naming a cat. You almost never call the cat by its real name anyway.
Right. That's true.
Who cares what the fucking cat's name is? I'm gonna call him Kitty and Smitty. I'm almost never gonna call him by his name. And it's the same thing with a movie. It for me, it's neither here nor there.
Well, for a guy like me, when I want to watch a flick and I don't know what I want to watch, and I'll go to like Tubi or I'll go to Fandango or something. What I'm looking at is for something to catch my eye,
right?
Whether it be the cover or the poster, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
All right, the artwork and the title.
Yeah.
Because I will just scroll and that one looks good.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
but that's what's important for me to actually, because there's so many of them out there. For somebody that's just looking for something to watch, the covers and the title must grab their attention, in my opinion.
Well, yeah. I mean, and we've said that for the last 5 years, with what we do. It's all about the artwork. I mean, the artwork is,
for sure,
it grabs the attention. Once it grabs their attention, odds are people will go out and buy something just because of the artwork.
Totally.
If that film has a great poster and the artwork on the the DVD or Blu-ray is kick ass, they're gonna buy it just for the artwork.
Right.
Like Jason's movie Diced, the name and the way that it's written just worked. It's perfect. It's short and it says what it says.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not me. I didn't come up with it.
Yeah.
You didn't come up with that? Who came up with that?
Jeremy Rudd, the writer-director. I just play the main villain in that, and then my Real Fiction team did the special effects.
Yep.
Right.
So.
Yep. If you haven't seen it, you got to go watch that one too because it was.
It's not out yet. They took it off offline.
Oh, they took it off?
They took it off everywhere, and they're going to re-release.
Because I was just going to go back and watch it again.
Well, they're going to re-release it.
Back out.
Yeah.
I'm not sure when the re-release is, but it'll be a full feature, brand new editing and score and sound. Like everything's getting complete overhaul, facelift and stuff. So with new scenes that we shot in Hollywood a couple of weeks ago. Cool.
Glad I got it. I'm glad I watched the very original release then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now you'll know between the two.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
No, he won't. He won't be able to remember that.
He won't.
Oh, I do.
I won't remember it, But no, I'm excited to see what Epic does with this one.
Yeah. So back to Conjuring the Cult. Some of what I saw in there, I saw The Ring.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, I saw that in there. I saw some of, is it Insidious? I think it's Insidious, those movies there, just the way that it was done. You know what I mean? When I like that in a movie because it brings in other elements that you've already seen that aren't really related to the film, but it's related to what you're watching. If that made any sense. Yeah.
No, totally. I mean, even during the scripting process, and I've always been really transparent about it. At that time, I go through these moods of different subgenres, and at the time I was doing nothing but watching Japanese horror films, mostly the Ju-on films, the Grudge films. So that's mostly what I was, really influenced by while making that movie. And really just wanted to keep that the way certain Japanese horror films, how they're paced, how they craft scares. A lot of times in Japanese horror films, it's not right out in the open. Usually you watch a scene that's sort of mundane and normal, and it isn't until the end of the scene that you realize that there was something sinister happening. So I really wanted to try and work those elements into the movie. Definitely, really influenced by Ju-on Origins. So if you have Netflix, check out Ju-on Origins. It's great.
Okay, that makes sense. And yeah, you're right. It was The Grudge that I was thinking of.
Yeah, and for me at least, I don't know if it's the same way for everyone, but I really kind of consider filmmaking like it's kind of parasitic. You're so influenced by stuff that you like. So I find myself kind of constantly being influenced by other films, kind of.
Right. Whether you want to or not.
Yeah. That I like that, you kind of steal from, Fulci or Takashi Shimizu, whoever I'm into at the time, I kind of can't help but be influenced by the type of horror that I'm into at that moment. So a little bit.
I watched one. Go ahead, Jason.
What?
No?
What?
I caught a movie last week, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, and the only reason I stopped to watch it was because of the title. Okay, very simple. Not another Cabin in the Woods movie.
Oh, I didn't watch that, but I saw that on Tubi. Yeah.
I saw it and I'm like, okay, let's give it a whirl. You know what I mean? And it ended up being pretty good. Because a lot of your horror flicks are cabins in the woods, whether it be on a lake or not, or just in the woods.
Yes.
Somebody always trips on air.
Or in some freaky little house. That's it. Very seldom. Some are done on water, but very, very seldom. You know what I mean? I've watched some that are in amusement parks. I've never liked any of them. And no horror movie can be in an amusement park. They don't work. Not to me.
Yeah.
You know, so location, like you said, is everything. But how do you come up with a new, never done before location?
It's tough. You know, a fair amount of you know, at least how I've gone about locations in the past couple of years has been trying to get interesting looking locations first. Honestly, writing a treatment, kind of writing it to be almost, you know, somewhat non-specific, and then trying to find something that's going to be visually appealing. Because yeah, with, you know, with horror films, especially in like an isolated location, and especially being in the Northwest, for us, it's really easy to just find a bunch of cabins. So trying to find something somewhat different. I mean, even the Lizzie Borden game was initially written for a cabin, but just knowing, okay, we got to get something that looks more interesting. So we started touring all these different places, you know, these like castles, you know, could these people stay in a castle, you know? Just trying to get something that looks a bit different. And, you know, when it came to Conjuring the Cult, like I said, luckily we had a producer who got us a church and got us this old school and had this, you know, really nice house. So we were able to, you know, have a variety of really interesting looking locations. But it's tough, you know, because you can find a lot of really cool locations out there, but, you know, a lot of times they're either too expensive or people don't want you to film there.
Right. Well, like in my case, I have no electricity at my cabin. That's tough.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, you won't be charging the camera packs there.
No.
Generators.
Yeah, you'd have to run
Generators all the
generators.
time.
Yeah, you'd have to. You have to run generators or solar power.
Yeah. Yeah, we have generators we use all the time because you go out in the woods somewhere deep. Even on the set property where with Snow White, you know, there's locations within the property itself that we had to run 3-4 generators to power the lights and cameras and stuff. So, yeah.
Right.
But
right.
Okay. Well, yeah, because I was always wondering why so many horror movies are in the same type of location or setting.
Well, I think it's an easy thing, right? You have them away from cell phone service. They're isolated. It's a creepy place.
Right.
You can't run next door for the neighbor. You know, you're in more peril. Whereas if it's just a house, you end up running to the neighbors or yelling out the window. And there's a lot of things to solve that way.
Right.
Right.
And also, we're just scary at night sometimes. You know, I think a lot of people have that experience of being nervous in the dark in a place that's unfamiliar.
Yeah, and it's a challenge to try and make the suburbs scary. Some of the movies that I've made have taken place in the suburbs. I like the concept of suburban horror, but yeah, it's tough. You've got neighbors. You know, suddenly you have to kind of work out. You know, okay, well, why doesn't David do X, Y, and Z? Okay, it's because his family has fallen apart and he's depressed, and you know, he simultaneously wants to figure out this mystery surrounding his daughter. That's why he doesn't run out the door.
Right.
Fuck this place.
I mean, you know, growing up summers as a kid, or most of my life in a cabin in the woods, they don't scare me, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I guess it depends. For me. Sometimes the countryside makes me nervous.
Listen, I get nervous just walking up the fucking stairs in the dark, okay?
Yeah.
Just saying. I look over my shoulder. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's some creepy shit.
Yeah.
So I think it's a mindset.
Yeah.
Honestly, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, old houses too, because I think the haunting of places. Right. You know, it's an old house. Okay, there could be something here. Where it's a brand new house in the suburbs, less likely, unless you're on a burial ground or something.
Right.
But somewhere out in the woods that you don't know, that people don't go to often. Of course, there could be something there that people haven't discovered or waiting for their victims. But yeah,
lurking behind a tree.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you end up with something like Chopping Mall, and you do something fun like that, and some fun location.
Right.
Yeah, because we have bears.
Yeah, we got bears.
We got bears.
Bears and
but you guys had brown bears and grizzlies and shit, right? In
Not a
your
lot
area?
of grizzlies. You gotta
No,
travel far. Mostly brown and black bears, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are black bears out there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I think mostly what we have are black bears.
Oh, they're harmless.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Do you have moose out there?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, that's the critter you need to be afraid of, not the fucking bears.
Right. Tackle the
Just
killer
saying.
Moose are huge too.
There you go. There's your next spin-off, Rocky and Bullwinkle Massacre.
Okay, moose. There you go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You got your squirrel and the moose.
Right,
What could
right.
fucking go wrong?
That's copyrighted.
Huh.
Sorry. Oh, fuck.
Actually, that's a good one.
Yeah. See, I come up with good ones on occasion. Not too often, though.
Maniac moose. Yeah. I like it.
Right?
Wow.
Schlocky and Bullwinkle.
Yeah.
Oh my god, too funny. So, Calvin, do you do events? Do you go out and get your face out there and do events?
Yeah, I
you go
try.
to horror conventions and shit like that?
Yeah, every year we do Crypticon Seattle. You know, that's a big one. There's different stuff that happens in Portland, but no real like big horror conventions or anything. But you know, I try to take DVDs and stuff to like movie swaps that we have in Portland, Oregon, and stuff like that.
Okay.
So yeah, I try to do a lot of podcasts as well. Try to get on and get the word out there a little bit.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, because every podcast has a different audience. So
right. Yeah, you know, I'm a fan first, so I always try to get on podcasts where they're talking about other movies too. I'm not always just trying to get out there and say, oh, come with me, come watch my movies.
Oh, well, you should be.
I enjoy the genre in general. It's just it's been a dream of mine to be a part of the horror film genre. So
yeah, I'm not talented enough to be able to write or make anything like that, but I'll watch the shit out of them.
Yeah.
And we appreciate that you do.
Yeah.
You know? Right. Oh, I do. I do. Lots of them.
So
go ahead, Ben.
I was just going to say to Calvin, so you actually got your start at the age of 16.
Yes.
On a stage doing Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah. Yeah. I was a stage actor for quite a while, did some Shakespeare, did some musicals, still did theater for a while in Portland. Before COVID, we had a pretty good theater scene. And yeah, transitioned into film while I was still in high school. Got a couple of lead roles in some different films, and I still love acting. I mean, I do as many gigs that I can that come across my table. But yeah, at a certain point, I just kind of wanted to tell my own stories. There also wasn't enough horror stuff happening in Portland, and the stuff that did happen just never came out. So
that surprises me. I mean, Portland, Oregon, you'd think it would just be horror, everything. It's just kind of a scary fucking place anyways, isn't it?
Yeah, right? Yeah, we got everything. Yeah, I mean, there's some stuff. There's like some short films, but a lot of stuff just hasn't really come out. So, I'd done some, but yeah, I started making like, little films, just trying to figure out, how to make a movie when I went behind the camera. And then really it was around Vengeance, just kind of seeing that this was, they all just got together. They all just lived together and made this movie. And I just spent a lot of time really paying attention to how Jason and Cody and Dustin, how these guys were doing it and what you can get away with, right? Yeah, I could totally ask everyone to like live in the same Airbnb for 2 weeks and make the movie, because they did it. So So that experience really kind of like kicked me in the ass, like try and do it myself.
Right. Okay.
Sweet. I knew from a very young age that I was not going to be a filmmaker, an actor, or anything like that. When I went in my school play and for Peter Pan, and I couldn't even have been one of the Lost Boys. They made me a fucking tree.
Yeah.
But we did do some filming, and how many people can actually say they threw their lawyer in the Hudson River?
Well, that's true.
Just saying. Literally.
Nice.
Literally. Back to the sharks.
Yeah. There's no sharks in the Hudson.
In the river?
Oh, how do you know? How the fuck? I don't. There's fucking bodies in that river.
Well, yeah, but they're cemented down, so they're fine.
True that. True that. Mm-hmm. There you go.
You
need an underwater horror slasher.
Yeah.
Sharks in the Hudson.
Yeah.
You know, cement shoes.
Yeah, doing
How does that work?
Yeah, doing a mobster film, but really concentrating on the dark side of it, almost like Sopranos. I guess they did Cleaver, right? In the Sopranos.
Mm-hmm.
So someone's got to just make Cleaver an actual movie at this point.
There you go. There you go.
Right? Yeah, I would think after, all of these films, it'd be hard to just be unique.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think you really got to, as cliche as it is, just kind of be yourself, What do you find interesting, right? Jason and Naomi come and stay with me sometimes, and they don't like slow burn stuff, but I always say it's just me, I think just being yourself, and sometimes you do, sometimes you're in the mood to make a slow burn movie and you should just write what it is that you want to do. And sometimes, it's Lizzie Borden and you still just kind of stick to your guns and do what you want to do. And I think that your style will shine through, just kind of be yourself,
Nice.
Yeah. Well, if you ever want to come out to go visit the Lizzie Borden house, you can stay at my house. I'm 40
I do.
minutes away.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. I'm going to do it now. Yeah. I got to get over to the East Coast.
Yeah.
Go get some establishing shots of the exterior.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go. Wow.
Easy peasy.
I didn't even write.
What?
I was looking at the time. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Well, you get chit chatting. All right. So,
just let you guys roll.
Yeah.
You
So, I'm kind of bummed I can't go back and watch Dice, Jason, but I'll have to wait until it comes back out. I'm just glad I saw it when it did because that was just so fucking awesome.
Oh, I'm glad you like it.
Calvin, I've got some other movies that I haven't seen that you've done or been in that I've got to go back and watch.
Yeah, definitely.
Actually, my wife came up. I came upstairs early last night. I fell asleep with the TV on. And she came up. I don't know where it was in the movie, what she thought I was watching, but it was the Pillow Party Massacre that I fell asleep to.
Oh, yeah.
And she walks into that, and she don't like horror movies at all.
Yeah.
I got to watch all those by myself because she just doesn't watch them.
So now you can take her to go see Snow White.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can get away with that one.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
No, I didn't know they were going to.
I didn't know it was like this. Well, that was like, I don't even know if I should bring it up.
Probably not.
She got home. She used to work evenings, so she'd get home at like midnight. A lot of times I'd wait up. So she's all wound up from work, and I'm clicking through looking for a movie to watch. Oh, Cinderella. Play. No. Triple X Cinderella. I think we watched it anyway. I'm not sure.
So on that note, make sure you check the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. Real quick, I got to give a shout out to my granddaughter because she's in the chat. Hi, Lila. Last questions, Jeffrey.
Yeah, for both of you. Jason's been asked this question before, but I want to see if he repeats his answer. Not that I remember what it was anyway.
Why? Jason ain't the fucking guest.
No, I know that, but it's for both of you.
Yeah,
so,
Jason.
so Calvin, you first. What do you eat on your pizza?
Everything. I'm not picky. I'm not a picky eater. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of Canadian bacon pineapple, but I'll eat it. You know, how I grew up, you know, food is food, you know, eat whatever they put in front of you. But if I had to just like, if I had to pick, you know, just good old pepperoni and sausage pizza.
No. I kind of expected him to say something Japanese. I mean,
no Japanese pizza. No, not that I know of.
Sushi pizza?
Squid, sushi.
Yeah.
No,
he loves Japanese horror. I just kind of figured he was, you know.
Yeah.
Continue, Jeffrey.
Square pizza. They make square pizza.
Maybe.
Don't they?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. I've never been to Japan. I've never been to a Japanese pizza house.
Yeah. I don't know.
There's no such thing as a Japanese pizza house, is there?
I was going to say, do they exist?
Somewhere there has to be one.
Japanese KFC is a big thing. KFC is huge in Japan. Their tradition in Japan is to eat KFC on Christmas.
Okay.
Yep. It's big.
Oh, okay. Is the C for chicken?
I have no idea. Kentucky Fried Christmas. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why that became a tradition.
I can't.
That's pretty weird.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what about you, Jason?
I'm still a pepperoni mushroom guy if I'm just getting myself. And if I have a good white sauce choice, I'll take that.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah. But again, I'll eat most of anything else.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
All right. And one more question for Calvin. If there's any place in the world that you would love to visit, where would it be?
Oh, that's tough. Okay, if I'm gonna go on like just right now, I've got endless amount of money to go anywhere in the world. I'm going to Thailand. I'm going to Thailand, baby.
Okay.
All right. I like that answer.
Yeah. That's a good answer, actually. That was a strange question because I haven't heard you ask that one yet, but that was a good answer.
Hey, you never know what I'm going to say.
Oh, because we already know he's a cat person because he's afraid of dogs. That's right.
That's right. See?
Yeah.
Which is why I did not ask that question.
I'm not afraid of dogs. I love dogs. I just, you know.
So, Jason.
Yeah.
Normally we have the special co-host ask last question, but you guys have worked together, so you pretty much know everything about Calvin. So I'm going to give you the floor for a couple minutes. You want to plug any upcoming endeavors that you might have in the works for people?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, keep an eye out for Dice getting a re-release here real soon, I believe. And then, of course, the Death of Snow White's the big one. Should be released in March. deathofsnowwhite.com. You can follow all the socials there. Check it out. See what it's about. Calvin's a part of that one too. We have Lizzie Borden movie coming up. That's our next big one that we're excited for. And just follow Real Fiction Studios for updates on all these movies. As long as Calvin, if he's working with us, his will be up there too.
Yeah.
When's Lizzie Borden due out?
Well, we will wrap the film in early February. Post turnaround for the distributor is usually about 2 to 3 months. Film comes out pretty soon after that. So I'd probably say late spring, early summer.
Okay. All right. So the fall.
Yeah. Yeah. No, actually, late spring, early summer. Yeah.
Oh, Calvin's always on time with this stuff.
Yeah, I'm a stickler for keeping stuff in order and being on time. So
totally cool.
Excellent. So like we said, folks, make sure you check out Conjuring the Cult.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, everything's in the show notes. I'm not going to repeat that again. With that, let's see. We'll go to Calvin first. So, where do you like interacting with your fans on the social medias?
Anywhere really. Facebook. You can follow 7th Street Productions on Facebook, Instagram. Our website is 7thstreetfilms.com. I also have a YouTube channel, which is 7th Street Productions. We also do movie reviews. We post all of our original trailers that we make there, our demo trailers. Any of those places are really a good spot to reach out to me. You can reach out to my personal Facebook as well, Calvin Morié McCarthy. I'll always respond back. We're always looking for collaborators, producers, people who want to get involved. So
more podcasts to get on.
Yes. What podcast?
Any podcast.
Any podcast.
You want to get on more podcasts?
Oh man, I've done a lot recently. I want to get. I want to come back on this podcast, obviously, but I'd like to go back to 22 Shots of Moods and Horror too. I wonder if they listen to this.
Nice.
I like that a lot. I enjoy that.
Excellent. So, Jason.
Hey, that's me.
Same question for you. Where do you like interacting with your fans on the socials?
Yeah, it's same as Kelvin. It's Real Fiction Studios, and on Instagram, Facebook, all the places, and also you can find my personal ones up there as well. But Real Fiction Studios, we have all the places there, all the socials.
Right. It's all in the show notes, folks.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We kind of stumped him. He's still editing. He's trying to edit and do the show at the same time. He's like trying to multitask.
Oh, shit, I shouldn't have cut that.
Right? He's going to go back and be like, oh, shit, when did I cut that scene? Fuck. My bad.
Yeah. Oh, man. Editing is not my favorite part, but it's, got to get it done.
So,
it is mine. It is mine. I enjoy editing quite a bit.
Right. One last thing for you, Jason. Do you have any events coming up that you're going to be appearing at?
I don't know, honestly. I
Follow
think
him on the socials.
Summer in Texas. In the summer I'll be in Texas for one, and then possibly out in May. But yeah, nothing's solid right now. I've been too busy with the movie.
With the movie and editing and filming and acting and yeah.
Yeah, and we also have like 3 or 4 other features we're working on next year that haven't mentioned yet with other directors and writers that we're doing special effects for. So yeah.
Excellent. So just follow them on the social, folks, and that's the way that is.
Yeah.
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 Well, thank you guys, Jason. It was nice to see you again, and Calvin. It was great to meet you. Good job on everything that I've seen that you've done.
Thank you.
Hopefully the rest of it will keep par with that, but we'll see. I'm a hard judge.
I won't let you down, Jeff.
No. You haven't yet. Neither is Jason. I'm going to say that. It just keeps getting better and better, and I'm looking forward to all of the stuff coming out. Was it the? I don't know. Go to stilltoken.com. Go to Token with the Dead on Facebook. You'll find all our shit there. Our animation is out. That is on Red Coral Universe. The link is pinned right to the top of the page. I don't know anything else about what we need to do. I'm trying to start an Instagram.
Oh, Jesus.
I am. Well, I had one from like 8 years ago that I never used because I never knew what the fuck I was doing. And lo and behold, I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Imagine that.
That's progress.
But I am. But I am trying to get an Instagram going. The page is actually, is it a page or is it a handle? What do you call it?
I don't fucking know.
Instagram.
It's a page. Yeah, it's a page.
Is it a page?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, because the page is called Still Toking With.
Well, yeah, that's our page.
No.
Yeah.
No, can't be.
Okay.
Your page is Toking with the Dead.
On Instagram?
Yep.
No, it's not.
Because if it was Still Toking With, I wouldn't have been able to get it.
Okay.
Isn't that how it works?
No.
But look it up. You tell me, because I have no fucking idea. So if anybody can help me figure out Instagram, reach out, because I'm confused as fuck.
Yeah. Are you done? Are you done?
Yeah.
You sure?
Sure.
Sure about that. So, first, I want to thank Calvin for coming out and hanging with us tonight, talking about Conjuring the Cult and all the amazing other shit that he's been part of. Huge shout out to our man Jason Brooks and for coming out and being a special co-host this evening, and just sitting on the screen and looking pretty like I was. But to all our veterans and first responders, we want to thank you for doing what you do, so people like us can come up here and do what we do. Stay safe. We'll see you next week. We are out of here.
Peace.